Aprilia has just announced a big update for their RSV4 for 2025, and they did so at the perfect time because I have a quick announcement for everyone. For the past couple of months, I've been working on a massive 45-minute long history video of the RSV4 and its racing journey, dating all the way back to the original Melee and even the beginning of Aprilia. I actually have it all finished, well, I had it all finished until Aprilia dropped this bombshell. Anyway, that video is going to be coming out real soon, so if you love history and Aprilia and their RSV4, then make sure you subscribe because you will not want to miss that one. Anyway, back to this new RSV4 because it is actually a much bigger deal than just being a new bike. I believe this RSV4 could shape the direction and the future of the superbikes for better or for worse. But let's start with the better, and the headline of this new bike is that it makes 220 horsepower. The future is here, everyone, and 200 horsepower is no longer impressive. Bikes are now making more power than a lot of cars, and this superbike leads them all as the most powerful production superbike in the world at this time. Although horsepower might be the headline, I am not sure if it's the biggest story, as the RSV4 had a lot of plastic surgery done to it, in the form of aero. These new aerodynamics include a massive winglet. Well, I don't even know if that could be called a winglet anymore. It's more like a big chin spoiler at this point. Get used to this look, everyone, because this is the future of superbikes. As they continue to push the horsepower limits, you will see these manufacturers fighting for every ounce of downforce they can get. Of course, I say downforce. The idea behind it is wheelie control can be done via body positioning, electronics, and yes, even aero. But when you are battling a 220 horsepower V4 engine, any amount of help is good. Traditional electronic wheelie control actually works exceptionally well, because it is activated via gyros, so when they detect any amount of wheel lift, they can lower the power to help prevent an unwanted wheelie. Now, lowering power is the key word here, that is not exactly what we want. We want as much power as possible while traction is available. That's why these massive winglets and now, I guess, chin spoilers are finding their way onto superbikes. Keep as much power down as possible. In fact, when you think about it, this new aero may be more important than the boost in horsepower. And although more horsepower is enough for most people, the aero does serve multiple purposes. For instance, the way Aprilia designed this front aero is to reduce heat directed towards the rider, which is impressive to think that the spoiler actually improves rider comfort. Aprilia also claims that the new aero reduces drag coefficient by 6%, while also offering an 8% decrease in wheelie tendencies. This all helps aid in acceleration. The side fairings are also redesigned and integrate with the front aero almost seamlessly. Now moving on from the aero, an all-new 5-inch TFT full-color display is added with updated graphics. Features include a fuel level indicator, and now one of the most favorite features I've seen on a bike in a long time, backlit handlebar controls, which just looks really cool. It's a very classy and premium touch. And along with all of that, a lighter upper triple clamp is now implemented, along with high pure radial mounted 4-piston calipers. The base models get an Sachs suspension, and the factory edition will be getting the Olin Smart EC 2.0 suspension, which is actually the exact same as the old Aprilia RSV4. And a small note to point out, Ducati and Honda both use the updated EC 3.0 suspension on their 25 models, so it is a bit strange to see Aprilia continue to use the older 2.0, but I'm sure it's just fine. Now moving on, I want to talk more about the star of the show, and that's the engine. The glorious V4 powerhouse that, as mentioned before, will produce 220 horsepower, and that will come at 13,100 RPM, and 92 foot-pound of torque at 10,800 RPM. Aprilia was able to not only add power, but they did so while achieving Euro 5 Plus compliance. Aprilia didn't redesign their whole engine. What they did was they added 4mm larger throttle bodies. Now they are 52mm, and a whole new exhaust system with a relocated catalytic converter to help minimize heat aimed at the rider. And actually, Aprilia says it is easier to fit an aftermarket exhaust system for racing purposes. But here is the bombshell, and this is where it gets a little bit interesting. Aprilia is now allowing adjustability for their RSV4's rider assistance systems. This means the rider can now customize their modes via, get this, in-app purchases, which means that you can now adapt settings without visiting the dealer. This advanced setup includes adaptive and predictive components for traction and wheelie controls, processing real-time data, speed, lean angle, throttle position, etc. to ensure smooth, precise control. The RSV4 features a 6-axis inertial platform, a ride-by-wire throttle, and 3 riding modes that integrate with the cornering ABS and the APRC system. But most interestingly is the fact that the wheelie control function is designed for track sessions, and it will actually learn to the rider's characteristics and adjust the intervention level to ensure optimal performance. Yes, you heard that correctly. AI is making its way into your motorcycle. Well, not really. I can't confirm whether or not this is actually some AI, probably not, but the idea is the same, and it makes you wonder what the future is going to take us with technology getting more and more integrated into our motorcycles. Now, the total cost of the new 2025 RSV4 is going to be $19,100, and the RSV4 factory will run you $26,099. As for the base model, you can get it in 2 different color options, either Poison Yellow or Stingray Blue, and the factory will be offered in Dark Kraken. Speaking about the factory, what does that extra $7,000 get you? Of course, you get Dark Kraken colorway, which is really cool, but luckily that's not all you get. You will also get forged aluminum wheels, as mentioned before, the Olin Smart EC 2.0 system. The factory will also get an included GPS module. The suspension, wheelie control, and traction control can be adjusted by an on corner-to-corner basis, which is actually a pretty insane race bike feature. With Aprilia's main focus to be on track improvements, the factory is given a pit lane limiter, launch control, multimedia connectivity, and a special race dashboard. Additionally, some street-friendly features are also added, including cruise control and cornering lights. Now, before closing out this video, I want to take a moment and give my thoughts and opinions on this new RSV4. First off, let's go right to the looks. I think it looks completely fine. I like that Aprilia continues to use their iconic RSV4 look. It just looks like another RSV4. It's immediately recognizable. The chin spoiler or winglets or whatever you want to call them, they also look okay to me. They're not my favorite look, but given the benefits they provide, I think it's cool. This is functional aero, so I think it's cool. It looks okay. I don't hate it, but I don't love it either. As for the power and technology, 220 horsepower is crazy, but it's not like the old bike was lacking power at 217. Now, you are getting exclusive bragging rights as owning the most powerful production homologated superbike in the world when you buy this bike. Well, for now, until next year when somebody makes a 225 horsepower bike. But the main topic I want to talk about right now isn't the horsepower or the aero, but the main thing I want to talk about is this in-app purchases the bike can have. At first glance, it's kinda horrible. Making us have to pay extra to unlock features the bike could just already have makes this feel like a video game with microtransactions. However, after thinking about it some more, I must admit, it's actually really horrible. I hate the precedent this sets. Now, I get it. This is just changing traction control and wheelie control. The bike is still a fully functioning, powerful, amazing superbike. You don't even need these features turned on with the in-app purchases. You really don't have any reason to turn these things off or adjust them in any way for public roads or really even during a regular track day. This is really going to only affect racers. However, some people will want to have the full adjustability of their bike, and it's unfortunate that Aprilia is putting it behind a paywall, especially when this is not a cheap bike by any means. Again, $19,000 for the base model and $26,000 for the factory. But most importantly, I just hate the precedent that this could set. I mean, how far away are we to the BMW heated seat subscription? I understand they ended up reversing that, but these manufacturers and businesses are, at the end of the day, are trying to maximize their profits, and they're constantly trying to take more and more from us. I mean, is this the beginning of the introduction of the subscription-based features? Aprilia boasts this new feature as a way to avoid going to the dealer, but most bikes have built-in traction control adjustability on the fly that's free and built into the bike. Aprilia could have just done that, but they didn't. And I believe that's going to be a dangerous precedent on motorcycling. I can easily see 5 to 10 years from now bikes coming out with heated grip purchases or some other feature to make more money from the consumer. It's clear we are in a new age, an age of massive winglets and 220 horsepower super bikes that are absolutely the pinnacle of power, braking, and handling. But we are also in the new age of AI and in-app purchases. It really makes you wonder what things are going to be looking like in the motorcycling world in the very near future. Anyway, I'm curious what you guys think about this bike. Do you believe Aprilia is doing the right thing with these in-app purchases? Not a big deal, or is it a huge deal? And what are your general thoughts on the bike? I'll admit, if this was a bike I owned, I would have zero desire to turn any of these settings off, but I get the principle of it. But I'd love to hear your thoughts, so make sure you let me know down in the comment section below, and I'll see you all soon in my new Aprilia RSV4 history video. Again, it's coming out soon. I'll put a link in the description once it's out, and you can check it out. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching.
It's a sick news, pull your little arrows out. Let me live my life, the one I'd better lead. All the plans of fantasies, and we looked at them 11 ways. You said, look at